Hey everyone, hope they're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis updated commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinions as we go. And if you have any questions, check out finding-value.com, where I dive deeper into these topics, into these subjects. We have question and answer sessions on the weekends and midweek updates on Wednesdays. May Day coupon is still active. So let's dive in here. Let's take a look and see what's going on in the markets. We've got the DXY where I start. We have a stronger DXY candlestick today, up 0.22%. And that can weigh on things that are priced in dollars as it moves on up. We have not broken through that downtrend yet. That's the downtrend line that I'm talking about. We are coming up into, and you could even put a one like this where we're coming into a decision here. And I suspect if yields drop, the dollar could drop. Or if yields continue to move up, they're not up today, but if they were to continue up out of those patterns, they would most likely break with the dollar going up. That would be a headwind for a lot of investments that are priced in dollars. That's why we are watching the DXY. So we strengthen today, and we'll see what occurs over the next few weeks, months with the resolution of this squeezing pattern. The 2-year yield is flat today, and the momentum is still to the downside. This would give you a little bit of information on the 2-year. If we do break, and we are playing with this lower trend line right now, and if we do break lower, we could see the dollar also break out of that pattern that we just looked at before. The 10-year yield lower, which is going to be good for mortgage rates and the housing market. So that is playing with that support level to the downside, and we very well could break to the downside for the 10-year. And then the 30-year is comfortably within the pattern here, this big squeezing pattern. And we are down today, 0.72%, but we're still looking okay. TYX TNX ratio, basically flat, not really getting any help for gold. So basically flat, but we are at an inverted level, so to speak, and we could uninvert, pushing precious metals to the upside. So precious metals still look very good, and they are still in cycle. Bond prices are up a little bit, and we are right at that resistance level again. We are squeezing into the corner here. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And are we going to break higher or are we going to break lower? People running into bonds increases bond prices and lowers yields. So we could see a lowering of the value of the dollar if people run into bonds. The 2-year, 10-year, I do think we are still very much inverted, and we inverted a little bit more today with the longer end of the curve going down and the short end remaining stable. We're still inverted, and we're not below that 1% where the short end of the curve goes underneath the 10-year. We're not there yet. So we're still inverted. Gold, flat. We literally are flat today, so we're at 0. Momentum is still downside, but we'll see if that changes over the next few trading sessions. But momentum's lower, and we are flat today. Silver is also flat, but momentum is still to the downside, and we could still see some downside in the short term. Platinum up 1.7%, still underneath that sticky trend line that we have not broken yet. And then palladium is also at support. We are up a little bit, 0.63%, right at support. The GDX up a little bit, GDXJ and SILJ all up a little bit. They all exhibit the same pattern. I still think that the momentum is to the downside. I see no reversal candlesticks. There's no big green army showing up. Generally, you get bullish engulfings like this one, indicating that we could bottom and turn. We haven't gotten that yet in any of those. XEU to gold ratio, we are up a little bit today. We had the ETFs go up a little bit, the mining companies, and gold was flat. everything still looks good for a move higher. Nothing has changed my opinions, and all of the technicals still are the same. Crude oil down 1.72%. I know some people are saying, getting a little bit afraid of crude oil. Is there going to be a recession? We're still within the pattern. We're still sitting on top of all of these support levels. I put this on logarithmic, but this stupid line that we went negative blows it all out. But everything's holding together. Now, we very well could go lower if there is a slowdown in the market. And with yields dropping and potentially dropping further, and if we get this is a big if, guys. I don't know for a fact, but if we get the yield curve to uninvert, we could see pressure in crude oil. The overall market dominates the sector fundamentals. So the overall market and what the market thinks, if there's going to be a slowdown, is going to trump any sort of market fundamentals of the sectors themselves, because it will dictate money flows more so than the sectors. So we're down today. It doesn't mean that we're just going to roll lower. We'll have to see what comes. And again, people are expecting inventory draws for oil coming up this week. TTF nat gas moving on up. It actually looks pretty good for a move higher for TTF gas. Looking pretty solid there. And then natural gas in America, we are back to support, and we are just holding on support at the moment. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, we're down today, but we're still above that support level. We're right above it. So, and that's the trend line coming down here, not the big neckline. So we're still above it. We'll see. Now, if oil continues to drop and if there's recessionary concerns, we could drop. The overall market is weighing on us. OIH still looks good. We've broken out here, and we are still above. So everything looks good for a potential move higher. Not any reversal candlesticks at the moment. Still looks okay. Newcastle coal up 0.4%. I think this looks fantastic, and we could go sideways or higher with time. We've broken all of the resistance, overhead resistance trend lines in the short term, and now we're just waiting to turn. Sprott Uranium Trust continuing to get some selling pressure here. Down a little bit, we're still underneath a lot of resistance. So I still view this as bearish in the short term until we get some green army candlesticks to show up. Uranium futures pricing, it's right in the corner here. I'd like to see this break to the upside, and I would get much more bullish if I see that. But at the time, we're still consolidating. URA down 1.6%. Still looks negative at the moment in terms of bearish. Momentum is still to the downside. URNM still to the downside, and same with URNJ. We gotta see some candlesticks, or even going sideways would be good at this time. We need to work off this big momentum that's broken through that trend line. So we should be bearish here until we get some buying pressure. Copper still down. Momentum is still to the downside. That has not changed yet. We've got a lot of support underneath us, which are these guys going across this way. COPX also slightly lower, and the support level is down at 38, 37 something dollars down there. We still have momentum leading to the downside at the current time. Iron ore moving sideways. This does look a little bit better than some of those other sectors because we've got a lower and then a higher low, and we've been getting a lot of small candlesticks, which means the buyers equal the sellers. Like it wants to turn higher. Aluminum down 1.5%. We still have a lot of these base commodities, which are very sensitive to economic output, and they're selling off. Makes me think that a slowdown could potentially, we're either in a slowdown or a slowdown is coming. But aluminum still has momentum to the downside. Same with nickel. It was up today, up 0.72%, but the momentum is still lower. I would not jump in front of that train or catch the falling knife because you can get cut. Mu down 0.4%, but we are still above support, and that actually doesn't look too bad. We've got a falling wedge coming right onto support, and then usually we bounce from those support levels. We very well easily could bounce here for a while if the market slows down and consolidate here. But we've got the green army showing up. It looks a lot better than other sectors. Emerging markets sideways today. We had a little bit stronger dollar, and we're coming back to support. KRE down 2%. That is a reversal candlestick. Looks like we could pull back in the short term. And we'll see if we get, you can go sideways too, sideways to lower with that bearish engulfing. TAN down 2.5%, still looks pretty crappy. I don't see this turning yet. Lithium down 1.4%, momentum still to the downside, and we've got support there at 36-ish dollars. REMX also selling off. This looks pretty rough. Still momentum downside, and we could see further downside in REMX. Baltic Dry Index right at support. We still have support at about 1750, but it is selling off a little bit today, down 1.4%. XHB also slowing down. We're up 0.45%, but it is small candlestick. What I mean by slowing down. Russell 2000 down. It does look like we could head back a little bit. Maybe just do like a retest. Well, it is a retest. We'll see if there's any follow through tomorrow. But down 1.09%, and it is a bearish engulfing candlestick, but we are above the big trend line support. S&P 500 up barely. The momentum is definitely to the downside, and this still looks like we could see further downside for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. Further downside is possible. We've got support underneath us, and that is very important to see if we bust on through that or if we hold. But right now, the momentum is lower. SMCI down 2%. That is a bearish engulfing. It does look like we want to go lower for SMCI. Looking pretty bearish there. And then NVIDIA down 1.3%. That does look bearish to continue lower. This is one of our market leaders. That's why I'm watching these, just to see what they're doing. Bitcoin is down 1%. We did tag that upper resistance level. We'll see where it goes from here. But this is a bullish formation coming up that is angled downward. So it's still bullish at this time. And then Ethereum up 1.4%. To me, it looks like it's in a bullish configuration where it could head lower in the short term, and we'll see if that materializes that way. I don't play the short term, but that's what it looks like in the short term. That's what I've got for today, guys. So give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website. We did do our question and answer session. It's released on the website. I did forget to answer some of your guys' questions that were sent to me previously, but I did answer them in another video, and it's right underneath that video on the website there. So that's all I've got for today, guys. Looks like things are, we'll see what the overall markets do here and what rates do. If rates drop and the market drops with it, well, there's your answer. It's going to be a slowdown potentially, and that's kind of what I'm looking for with the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and rates. I'm just watching those, seeing which way they're going to break. We haven't had a clear break on longer term. TLT, bonds, and all that, still stuck in those patterns. Dollars right there too. It's real close, and 2-year yields right just underneath support. So it could still get back within the pattern there, but again, we'll have to wait and see and see what the markets and how they trade. But we'll catch you next time, guys. That's all I've got. See ya.